Scales with Character Lesson 1. Here we go. Hey everyone, this is Brandon Dix. I'm the author of Scales with Character, and today we're going to be talking about our first lesson, the C major scale. The C major scale is usually the first scale that we learn, and is one of those that we always come back to regardless if we want to or not. When playing the C major scale, we should be focusing on the sound and how easy we're playing all the notes. But shouldn't we be focusing on the fingerings and getting all the right notes? That's a really big part of the scales. Yes, that's a valid concern, but that's why we sing and finger before we play the scale, so we can really divide it up and not have to think about two things at once. That's boring. I don't want to do that. I just want to play trumpet. Yeah, you probably shouldn't do that because you're wasting your face and your time, and I know those are pretty valuable to you. Whatever, man. I'm just going to continue to play like I always do. Shouldn't you be practicing? We have a new arrangement coming out, and it has a pretty hard piccolo part. Oh yeah, I should. Okay, cool. Anyways, back to scales. So what we're going to do is focus on playing the C major scale, going up and down slowly. So we're going to start on page 2 of the Scales with Character book on the first exercise, the scale. We're going to play the scale and chord notes slowly and focus on the sound for each one. For today's scales and exercises, we're going to be slurring everything. The biggest thing we're looking for is a consistent sound going from the lowest note to the highest note. Usually when we get higher, it's going to sound more tinny, like this. With the frac too. To help with this, focus on your air going right to here and constantly going there. So it has to be and not, which is why we get the tinny sound, or even worse, because we're pushing the air and forcing the air to come out. It's about consistent air all the way through. Again, a good visual is to think about the air always hitting the mouthpiece and always going right here. A word you can use too is flow. Flow of air, because flow never stops, it keeps on moving somewhere. If you're having trouble playing the scale with a consistent tone, work on the half that you need to with the exercise below it. Here, let's play it together. First half. One thing you should know, when you're going up to the G, you should be using your air, your constant air, to make it easier for you. Once you get a good balance on that G, then you can move to the next line where you actually go up from the G to the C. But you can't work there until you get a comfortable G. When starting the second line, remember how that G felt on the first line. It starts with a G, and if you get it just as comfortable as you did before, it should be easy for you. Let's go ahead and play the second line together. Now here's the most crucial part. When you play the exercise, you have to go back up to the scale because we have to use what we just learned and put it back in context. You may see some results today, you may not. The most important thing is about playing it every day so it gets really familiar and it develops faster. Every day is more important, not big chunks in one day. When we're doing these scale patterns, we should be doing a similar thing. There is a little bit of alteration. Remember that we did slurs for these? For the thirds pattern, I like to do articulated. Now this is good for advanced players who are already familiar with the thirds pattern, but for anyone who's younger, stick with the sound. We'll come back to the articulation. For the next video, we're going to talk about the scale patterns and some ways to work with them and make yourself better through these scale patterns. That will about wrap it up for this video. Please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit that bell icon so you can get more notifications on when new videos are releasing. Super happy to get this video series started. I'll see you guys next time. Remember to practice with character. Shouldn't you be practicing?